Hello GDQ, this is my official SGDQ submission for Sly 1 100% Coinless, also known in the community as Coindo. This category is very near and dear to my heart for a few different reasons. One of the biggest of which is this category was not even thought to be possible originally. The entire community came together in order to actually make it possible, albeit rerouting, as well as finding entirely new tricks to even make levels possible to begin with. There was a lot of new tricks and new movement tech even found for this category that eventually spilled over to other categories in order to make them faster. It just was a huge community effort and would not have been possible without the work of the entire community as a whole to put together this run and to make it possible to begin with. The original run was over 12 hours long, but now we have it consistently to sub 3 hours, hence the sub 3 hour estimate. I'm super duper proud of that. Additionally, you will not see a lot of the movement tech and tricks that are seen in this run in any other Sly category, and this is yet to be run on the main stage, and so I would really like to be the one to show this off, show off some new tech for this game, show off some parts of the game that people have never seen before, and I think that would just be a very, very good submission. We are going to start our timer on go. I'm going to do a 3 count and then go. Hi Caius. Hi Brill. In 3, 2, 1, go. Wait. No! Hold on. Now 3, 2, 1, go. Thank you. So the very first piece of tech we're going to show off here is a proxy. Proxies are very prevalent in this game. Basically what a proxy is when you stick Sly between a rock and a hard place, or stick him slightly underground, or basically anywhere he's not supposed to be. The game will try to force him out of that area. Sometimes with a ton of momentum, you can use that to allow Sly to get into places he's really not supposed to be, hence that big launch out there. Additionally, something really interesting to note about this game is that for speedruns, we actually create our run files in order to pre-skip a lot of the cutscenes. The speedrun community basically decided that the ending cutscene after Paris and the intro cutscene for all of the worlds is very long, and we don't need to sit through all of those on each run because it's not like there's any skill sitting through a cutscene, so we want to get to the speedrun faster. We use a file manipulation called a binoc double pause. I'll actually be using a different kind of tech related to the binoc double pause later in this run. However, we use that to set up our run so that we don't have any of those cutscenes to watch and we can get to the run faster. We use another proxy there, that's called Sign Proxy, in order to jump over that cave. It not only has coins in it, as you saw, but it has a very long cutscene at the end of it, so we're going to jump over the cliff and fall down here to get our first bottles to the run. 100% in this game entails quite a bit. It is not only all of the 28 keys that are required in order to manually access all of the boss fights, as you would intended. However, there are also the bottles of every platforming level, the vaults associated with those bottles, and Master Thief Sprints, aka the time trials for this game. We are going to be collecting every key, every bottle, vault, Master Thief Sprint, and completing the game. This right there is Boost Jump. Boost Jump is a fun little piece of tech. You see me pause right there on purpose. What Boost Jump is it's pause buffering an extra third jump. As with a lot of 3D platformers, you get a jump and a double jump. You're not supposed to get a third jump, however, because of our weird cane, swinging the cane shenanigans there, it's actually possible to do a third jump in that, and we pause in order to buffer the perfect frame to get that third jump out of. It's possible to do that without the pause buffer, but it's way more consistent to do it with the pause.
Just jump and hit the circle button. Got it. Jump and hit the circle button.
I hope everyone enjoys the run with commentary. We learned to jump and hit the circle button here. Doing good so far, thank you. Okay, we're almost to the end for ASA, a stealthy approach. We're just going to do a few more precise jumps in order to get up the bottles above us and then grab the key and be done with this level for now. If you can see in my splits, they have a ton of information in them. The information is all kind of coded. If you see the KV, what that means is key and vault. We use that information during the run to try to keep track of all the information we need to throughout the 3-hour run, because there's quite a lot that we need to collect in this run, and we need to be able to keep track of all of it, using the splits in order to keep track of those things, as well as the vault combination, so we don't have to wait for Bentley to say those vault combinations is very, very helpful. So we use our splits for information in this as well as just timing. Thank you, Caius. We're actually going to leave the level. We're going to get the main World 1 hub world on our map, and then we're going to go back into the vault. What happens is that when we finish putting in the last number in this vault, it will automatically collect the information in the vault for us, and we can go ahead and map back to the hub world, not having to listen to the long cutscene.
The clues have led me to believe that the code for this vault is 7.
And just like that, we're done with ASA. Yeah, we have been asking for a summoning salt video for a while. There are a few levels that are literally impossible once we get further into the run, and that is because of the way that the vaults work in this game. The vaults do not correspond to the level that you collect them in, but rather the number of vaults that you have when you collect a vault. So basically what that means is no matter if you collect the first vault in World 1 or World 4, your first vault will always contain dive, your second vault will always contain roll, and so on. The other important thing to note about that is that your fifth vault will always contain coin magnet. Coin magnet is brutal because it somewhere increases Sly's hitbox for coins by around 7 times. It makes it incredibly brutal to do a lot of levels, and some of those levels are impossible to begin with the magnet. So we are going to be trying to maximize all of those levels before we even get magnet to begin with. We're going to be collecting all the bottles in the game, not the vaults though. And then after collecting all those bottles and collecting the vaults with which would be impossible with magnet, then we're going to go back, grab magnet, and the game becomes even more precise. Something else to note there is you did see me fall onto a coin. The speedrun community decided that this run was already such a huge barrier of entry for runners to begin to learn anyways, that you can reload to a save before that coin was collected. That makes it a little more accessible for runners, because normally this run would be nearly impossible if you were required to reset the entire run every time you touched a coin. It just makes it a little more runner friendly to reset to a last known save file from before you touched a coin. That being said, the trade-off to that, because this is a speedrun, is you lose the amount of time before your last save, which is very important. So obviously, in terms of a speedrun, you're still trying to minimize the amount of coins collected because you don't want to ever have to reset the level. That can be an absolute run killer if you have to do that even once in a longer level, let alone the amount of time lost that has to be done like over multiple coin collections if you do have to end up doing that. This is the longest level in the game. Luckily, we are going to get it out of the way right off the bat. This is impossible with magnet. As you saw in particular, the really tight jump inside that vent that we had to do. That is impossible with magnet, so we're going to actually just 100% this level to begin with. Because we can't come back to finish it later. So we're going to be doing all of the bottles, the vaults, grab the key, and we're going to do the Master Thief Sprint, also known as the time trial for this. Also, thank you for the follow. There is a little bit of auto-targeting on Sly's cane, which is important to note. One of the higher priorities, of course, in auto-targeting on Sly's cane priority is coins, which is brutal, including sometimes over-breakable objects and bottles. So we need to be really careful where Sly is when we swing the cane to try to collect something, because he will often just try to grab the coin instead. A little bit of a slope jump to get up that. Slope jumps are really interesting. If you jump up a slope that is less than 90 degrees, then what you can end up doing is you can have your momentum transfer that would normally be going forward into upwards momentum instead. So rather than all of your momentum going forward, when you're going up a slope that is less than 90 degrees, you can have that momentum kind of be transferred upwards and get a much higher jump than you were originally supposed to. You'll see me use that several times throughout the run, and I'll try to point out when there are some slope jumps. There are some more obvious ones later that I can try to point out to really show you what's going on with that tech. But for now, this vault is the second one we're getting in the run, and this is Roll. Roll is my absolute favorite ability in the game, not only because it is very silly and allows you to move much faster, which is a speedrunner's dream, but it allows you to do some really interesting tech. We are going to do fast ban. Okay, I'll do fast ban for you. We're going to do an interesting proxy here as well. This is called a checkpoint proxy. I'll show you the roll tech that we get to later. It is called a roll hover, and I get very excited about them. That checkpoint proxy is really interesting. The way that it functions is that while Sly is spawning at several checkpoints, not all of them, but quite a few in the game, he actually spawns slightly underground, and rather than normally when the game loads you in, and you see that fade in to load, the game will just lightly pop him back up onto the ground and you wouldn't notice anything different. However, if you spam X during that, then you can hit X on the correct frame, and hitting X on the correct frame will give him that launch that you saw right there, and that is a checkpoint proxy. That's not the only checkpoint that you can do it at, but that's one of the most beneficial because it does end up skipping that cogwheel cycle that you have to get on. Now we are in the middle of the time trial for the end of the machine, also known as the Master Thief Sprint or the MTS. Okay. This is a very brutal time trial, especially in World 1. You will see how tight the timers are for these time trials. So it will be pretty brutal, especially considering we can't just go the standard intended path. We have to do our extra little jumps around coins on top of making it all the way to the end. The time trials for this category get very, very brutal and honestly very, very creative, because there's quite a few ways that you can actually stall the timer for the MTSs in this game. One of the ways, which I will show off right here, is while the Banakucom is open, the timer will not actually count down. I can use that right here to check the coin spawn pattern without the timer going down. Checking the coin spawn pattern is really important right there because that jump is already very tight. We don't need to waste any more time. There is one other major way that you can stall the timer, which hopefully I won't have to do a ton, but I may have to. There's your fast fan. Are you happy? The other way to stall it is the map pausing. Whenever you open up the map, it stalls the timer for about half a second because Sly can actually move while the map is opening and closing, but the timer refuses to count down. These right here are interesting. These are called cane jumps. World 1's supposed to be World 4. That's fair, yeah. There's a rumor, I'm not sure if it's 100% confirmed, but there's a lot of talk about how World 1 was originally supposed to be World 4, and so the timers were supposed to get tighter and tighter. However, World 1 ends up with the tightest timers because they ended up moving it to the front and not changing the timers. So there is a legitimate argument to be said that the reason that World 1 is so difficult in terms of timers is because it was supposed to be a later world. Just one, I know, right? Gosh. Oh, cane jumps. Cane jumps are really interesting because Sly does not have to be all the way grabbing a pipe in order to jump off of it again. You actually refresh your jump off of something like a pipe as soon as Sly's cane clicks onto it. And what that does is you can jump away from a pipe, clip the cane onto the thing, and then jump much further away from where you were originally grabbing the pipe onto. You can get much further distance than that. You can use it to do really fun things, such as jump over those fans right there. Or you can use it to jump away from a coin-filled pipe before you actually land on it.
Jackpot, Sly! Look at all this stuff!
Never twinged. I'm glad it was hype.
And you know what that means? Tighter security. You're gonna have to be extra sneaky to get the treasure key here.
Okay. This is high-class heist. There are some pretty precise jumps we have to do in order to collect the bottles, but there are some pretty precise jumps we have to do in order to collect the bottles in most levels, so that it becomes kind of the standard. We are actually going to go ahead and collect the vault for this one. The way that the vaults work, once again, is very interesting, and once again, you would not know any of these vault patterns in any other category. However, the third vault in every world is kind of a freebie, in that it gives you the, what they call in the game, the blueprints to the world. The blueprints in the world help you find the bottles that you're missing from the other levels. But basically what that means is that the blueprints for World 1 will override what we're supposed to get as the third ability. So we can feel free to go ahead and get a third vault without counting towards Magnet. And that's why we end up getting 3 vaults here. We try to find the most difficult 3 in World 1, and we do those, rather than some of the other ones that we already know are guaranteed to be possible with Magnet. This one is a brutal one to do with Magnet, so we decide to, while it is possible to do this one with Magnet, we decided to go ahead and do this one without Magnet, because this is one of the 3 that we can choose. This will overwrite the third ability that we're supposed to get, and we're going to instead get the blueprints for World 1. It's thank you. Okay, we got the key. Now we're going to go grab the vault. We're going to use roll to try to speed up a little bit, because roll is amazing.
Press the circle to enter the vault code. Whoever thought this code up knew what they were doing. Dial in 4th.
So the reason that I put in those vault codes out of order as well is because if you do the middle one last, once Sly's hand reaches the knob for the vault in order to open it, then it actually goes into a cutscene. However, if we do the middle number last, it takes Sly's hand longer to reach the knob, so it gives me a little more leeway on the pause timing on pausing to make sure that we don't have to watch that cutscene. Now we're going to do a very fun trick called BBJ, also known as belly bump jump. It is a type of proxy in the game known as a guard proxy. Guard proxies are a little less consistent than other proxies because they actually do have to rely on the guards. However, they're consistent enough to go for RTA. Just like that. So that skips that whole roundabout section we had to do earlier. And we now have 2 levels 100%ed in World 1 and 3 vaults. Now we're not going to collect any more vaults in World 1 for now. We're going to collect all the bottles and keys and then go ahead and move on to World 2. Now I'm going to grab this charm from the outside in order to do a fun little strat that I like that saves some time in this level. As long as this out of bounds doesn't give me some trouble. Perfect, thank you. That out of bounds is actually required. There's a very long Bentley cutscene that discusses how these little things work. But rather than listen to Bentley talk about those, we are instead going to just skip the cutscene and do a little out of bounds jump. Right here, I'm actually going to do a super jump. The super jump is a really interesting mechanic that's used quite a bit in speedrunning for this game. Super jumping prevents the game from updating your last known safe position, your last known grounded position, and when you're put into a spot of danger where you are either stuck falling forever, or you take damage, or something along those lines, then the game will return you to your last known safe position. The last known safe position we can actually manipulate by doing that little weird cane swing jump that I was doing. This one right here. That will not allow the game to update our last known grounded position, and we can therefore manipulate where the game will return us to when we take damage. So we can go out, grab that bottle, do the super jump in order to prevent it from updating our position, and then have it pop us back to an easier position to run to. How to get onto what pipe? Okay, now we're just going to finish up grabbing these bottles. We're going to wait for that coin that's right next to the key, and we're going to exit level. The pipe above the lava with the 2 bottles on it. I don't know if I know which one you're talking about off the bat. You'll also see me that when I go into a lot of levels, I'm going to go a little bit into the level. I'm going to pause, and then I'm going to reload. That's because Bentley is trying to explain something. Bentley likes to interrupt quite a bit, and we are trying to speedrun here, so we are going to pause, and we are going to load out of whatever Bentley's trying to tell us. Normally, in this level, you're supposed to take that barrel that I was showing, and you're supposed to avoid the guard lights and everything like the darts with that barrel and walk the barrel all the way to the end. However, we're not going to do that. Instead, we are just going to use roll to abuse a lot of things, like that really interesting roll bounce right there. We're also going to do a little slope jump here. We're going to convert our forward momentum upwards. We'll get a higher jump than we're supposed to, and we can slope jump up that bookshelf. And we can roll under the turret here. Okay, here's a little out of bounds to avoid the turret detection. And we can use that extra height to get on top of this bookshelf. Grab these bottles up here. Big jump down to the bridge. And then I'm just going to go ahead and damage boost through these turrets here. And we are out of ACD. Oh, that jump. Yeah. You should show me an easier way for that. Okay, we are going to do an interesting little trick here called Loogie Lunge. We actually found out that this guard has shots that have a hitbox that you can jump off of, not just a damaging hitbox. So what we do is we manipulate the guard to be in a precise position, cause him to shoot at a specific angle, and we can jump off of the projectile that he shoots. So we do a slope jump, get an extra jump off of the projectile that he shoots, and that double slope jump all the way up the roof allows us to get over it. That saves us quite a bit of time because we don't have to unlock a generator that normally we'd have to unlock. We'd have to destroy the generator. It's just a whole thing. We're just going to go ahead and allow that guard to boost us up over the ledge. Thank you. This rope right here, unlike the other two, conveniently has no coins, which is very nice. It makes it so we don't have to do a very precise jump to get up to the top of there. Rather, we can just climb up the rope with conveniently no coins on it. We're going to avoid these lights and just make our way through the level, collecting the rest of the bottles. This level is mostly pretty straightforward as far as collecting the bottles. We're just going to make it through the end with some precise jumps around the coins. And we're going to be using roll as much as possible to try to save time on getting those next bottles. Thank you. Something that I really like about this category is that not only is it showing off more of the game than you would normally see in other categories, however, it is constantly an edge of your seat category. And I love that. From a viewer's perspective, it is very easy to read on when the runner messes up, on what the runner needs to be doing, on how precise the jumps are, because the coins are actually showing you exactly how precise those jumps are and what you should and should not be looking for. From a viewer's perspective, it is very easy to read, and it is just fun to watch the entire time. Not to mention it's just kind of edge of your seat material. It's just a very fun fun run to watch, as well as a very fun run to get to show off all of the tech in this game. We're going to once again load out of Bentley cutscene here. This level is just entirely as intended for the minigames. These crabs are random spawn, and the chests are random spawn. We have to collect all 40 of these chests before a crab can take one. That being said, the level takes a little bit and requires a little bit of concentration, so this would be a really good place for donations. Yep. You will actually notice there are a lot of guards by the loading level triggers that I will purposefully not hit. That is because the guards can drop coins, and if you see, the way that a lot of the level loading triggers work is if you load the game, if you go into a loading trigger, if you exit the level, anything like that, in order to match the comic book feel of the game, it actually will fade out. And rather than, you know, like instantly stopping when you pause or any of those kinds of things, it will slow you down, it will slowly fade out the game. That is really cool, it adds to the feel a lot. However, as far as speedruns go, it is very, very broken. which is super nice. Anything that happens during the fade out actually is assumed to have happened after the load. That is incredibly helpful. As you see, one of the things that I use that for is key pausing. I can go ahead and exit level as Sly is going to grab the key, and then I don't have to see Sly's key pickup animation. He normally will have this animation where he grabs the key, he like spins it around, shows it off, puts it in his backpack. That's like 6 seconds each time. Considering we're grabbing 28 keys throughout the run, 6 seconds over 28 times saves quite a bit of time. That being said, that is a really good example of how we can use a key pause to our advantage, and use that, like, game fading out mechanic to our advantage. However, when you go into a level trigger, and you collect a coin, for instance, once you go into the level trigger, you lose control, and then the game saves your coin as you go into the fade out. So it's really important when I hit guards near level triggers and those kinds of things, or just don't hit the guard at all. I need to be really careful of coins around level triggers, because if I collect a coin and a level trigger at the same time, it will just save the coin and the run is officially over. You will also see I reset game here. I reset game here on purpose. All of the main villains in this game have very long evil villain monologues, as a proper evil villain should. However, because we're speedrunning, we don't have time for long evil villain monologues. So rather than listen to the entire thing, we're just going to reset the game and it will put us directly into the fight. This fight is mostly as intended. One of the important things to note here is that I am moving as little as possible while he's bouncing, because I want to try to make him stay in the air for as little time as possible. The other thing to note is when he's jumping back to his platform, I'm also jumping with him and swinging. That is because normally when you hit him, he will fall into the water, he'll splash around in the water a little bit, and then he'll jump back to his platform. However, rather than allow him to do that, if he just takes the damage while he's already on the way back to the platform, then it skips that whole animation. And so that saves a little time on each time, time you do that. We're once again going to do a little key pause here to get out of the boss quickly. And then we are going to just immediately go into World 2. We are officially done with our first pass on World 1. We'll be back to clean that up later when we have Magnet, but for now, that's everything we need to do without Magnet. Okay. I'm going to be showing off another really fun little instance of super jumping here in a second, but first we're going to do a very fun little cutscene skip. If you take damage while you are listening to Bentley during the cutscene skip, then you can actually get out of the cutscene skip. Normally you're not you can actually get out of the cutscene. Normally you're not supposed to be able to take damage while talking to Bentley at all. However, we are going to cheese that by, as we open the Binocucom to talk to Bentley, we are going to run off the ledge. I missed it, barely, but that's too bad. Sly didn't fully pull out the Binocucom there, so it didn't register as the cutscene having started, so it didn't count after we took damage. Very close, very close. No, Ketis comes later. We do Ketis for the MTS for this level. We're actually going to do Ketis twice for this, for the MTS when we come back. For now, we are going to show off super jumping. Once again, just take in mind that I am preventing the game from updating Sly's last known grounded position, and what that allows us to do is do this little weird jump, collect all the bottles here, die anyways. I didn't get to show off the strat, but that's fine because we actually start that super jump from a checkpoint. It's a little extra safety thing as far as speedrunners go. So that loses a few seconds and loses a life, but that's whatever. As long as we're keeping track of our lives, it's fine. Just be careful to avoid those coins. More Ketis is better. Yeah, we in fact do the majority of the strats you see in other categories. We're going to be doing for the MTSs or the vaults or anything along those lines. This category just gets to show off everything, which is wonderful. We are just going to get those guards to break the fence there and be extra careful of the coins around it. There's a bottle hidden back here. Something really interesting that does actually make this run viable to begin with is when you have coins from breakable objects or from guards that are spawned out of those, the coins don't actually have a hitbox. Shoot. The coins don't actually have a hitbox until they touch the ground, which is very important because there are a lot of instances where coins drop out of guards, out of breakable objects, or those kinds of things where you'll see me maneuver under the coins. They don't have a hitbox yet until they touch the ground, so I have about a second to maneuver around those coins before they actually are able to, like, damage me. Okay, retry the binoc skip, sure. That being said, really interesting thing to note about this category is if you see, as far as my run submission run goes, my best possible time is a 2:23 right now. What I'm trying to show with this run submission is that even through mistakes, we can do a no reset, and it is still a marathon safe category despite being as brutally difficult as it is, because there is so much time save and we have gotten the run down to such a consistent level that despite it being a very, very difficult run, and a fairly long one at that, it is still marathon safe and would be perfectly viable for GDQ runs in order to get under the estimate. We will try this one more time. But we're doing a no reset for this run submission just to show that this game is very viable and marathon safe. Shoot. Thank you, Bearnep. Hi, Yamada. Perfect. So that right there will show off. Oops. There we go. There we go. Okay. That right there will show off that if we take damage while Bentley is trying to talk to us, then it will cancel the cutscene, and then we can go ahead and get on our merry way without Bentley having to over-explain everything that we're doing. We've played this game several hundred times, if not several thousand times at this point. Bentley doesn't need to explain all of these pieces of tech to us. We know what we're doing. I can also re-show you the way that the stuck spot is supposed to function. I appreciate the luck. I appreciate the luck. Yep. I do very much want to show that this category is very, very much sub 3 hour possible in a marathon setting. Despite mistakes that may happen. So we will be continuing on with this run just to show that it is super marathon safe and viable. Although I may have to quiet up and focus just a little bit sometimes. For as far as the actual run goes, I'm doing the submission commentary by myself. However, I would probably want to have a commentator help me with this, so there are certain times where I could focus and the commentator could help describe the tech instead of me. However, for now, I'm doing the descriptions of the tech on my own so that you can see that I not only know the run and know the game very well, but am very capable of doing the run and commentating it if so needed at the same time. Okay, there's all the keys. Or there's all the bottles, here's the key, and we are officially out of here. Yeah, that guard was super rich, no kidding. There is a little bit of RNG to this run. The RNG does not really define too much in the run in terms of time loss or time save. However, we do have to be extra careful because there are some guards that are just a little more rich than the others. And will drop way more coins than other guards. Hi, Jack. Guard vision in this game works really interestingly. Just for visual clarity for the actual player/runner, guard vision is specifically the flashlight. And that is really interesting to me because it means that you can jump over the flashlight and hit the guard just as we did there. As long as you don't touch the flashlight, then the guard will not be able to see you. Thank you, Genga. I appreciate the luck. We are going to do this, these bottles in a little bit of a reverse order here. We are going to jump out of bounds and down to an area that we should not be able to access yet in order to make the bottles that we go back this way much easier. Normally you have to climb up a pipe that has a ton of coins around it and deal with this chandelier over here. However, rather than deal with all of that, we are just going to jump down here, grab these bottles, and grab them all in the reverse because it makes it quite a bit easier on ourselves. Flashy, that's exactly what I'm saying, Gwen. Nice cane jump, thank you, thank you. Might as well say hi. Fair, Ansel, how you doing? Ooh, shoot. They'll never know. They will simply never know. Shoot. We're gonna try that one more time.
Nice job getting in. But look out.
Sorry, it's very, very hard to commentate this game at the exact same time as you're running everything because you have so much to pay attention to, which is exactly why I would use a commentator. But I also wanted to show off like how much I enjoy this category and think that it definitely deserves a place on the GDQ stage to show off like all of this. Not only like all of the game 100% to begin with, but so much of the game that you don't get to see otherwise. Okay, I think I've explained most of the game's tech at this point at the very least, so I can focus on explaining the individual levels and make it a little easier. Okay. We're going to clean up these bottles, be careful of the lasers and the guards. We're going to use roll when we can to try to speed up Sly's movement, especially down slopes. It just helps a ton. Yeah, Snuggy Wuggy. Now we're going to do an interesting little trick up here called Pillar Climb. Normally, you're supposed to just climb the rope over here, all the way up to the top of the chandelier, but the rope has a ton of coins that are very difficult to avoid, so we're going to do a fun little out of bounds here instead. Just like that, we climb this rope, instead of having to deal with the coins. The rest of this level is mostly as intended. Just trying to avoid the coins as much as possible and grab the remaining bottles.
Sly, this giant roulette wheel is spinning too fast to jump
Easy pillar climb.
around it. You'll have to jump in the other direction to try to land on the green section.
And there we go. We are out of Murray's Big Gamble. Now, we are going to go into a very interesting level. Most people who played this as a kid remember this very infamously. This is the race level from World 2. The race level is brutal. I'm going to show that it can be very consistently done. However, it is still very difficult in terms of a speedrun level, so rest assured, everyone that is upset at this level, you are upset for a very good reason, and we're not just terrible at the game.
Is there a key in it for the winner?
Yeah. 3 times
AAA space. That is true.
It's all you, man. Drive the van with
Indie games have, like, style and personality galore for sure.
Square button. Go get 'em.
I'm on it.
Something really interesting about this game is a lot of people may understand what rubber banding means in terms of racing games. This game does have rubber banding, but very much not in the traditional sense. Traditional racing games have rubber banding in that when a player is playing the game, the enemies in front of the player are actually slowed down, and the enemies behind the player are actually sped up. That's to make it feel like the player just barely clutched out the win with, like, you know, enemies right behind them or whatever. That being said, the rubber banding in this game works very differently. All of the enemies are rubber banded to each other, so the enemies all try to finish in the exact same location, being the red car finishes first, then the green, then the purple, then the army car. They try to rubber band into those spots, and they are not rubber banded to the player whatsoever. However, they are the fastest on lap 1, which is why it feels like it's impossible to win the lap, or to win the race by lap 1, and then they slow down by lap 2, and even more so by lap 3. So they're actually going at their slowest lap 3, and it's to make it feel like you made an incredible comeback from, you know, like 3rd or 4th place all the way to the front on the final lap. I always thought that that was a really interesting way to use rubber banding in this game, and very much not a traditional rubber banding in terms of the race. Yeah, race lore! Now we just have this one final car to pass. There we go. The boosts themselves, while that one right there is a really good one, the boosts themselves don't really save a ton of time. They save like upwards of 1 second per boost, so if you spend more than 1 second going out of your way, the boosts are actually useless. It's way more important here if you're trying to optimize the race to cut the corners well, drive in as straight of lines as possible, and just do general race optimization rather than trying to rely on the boosts. If the boosts are in your path though, just like that one, then you can go ahead and use them to try to cut corners harder.
Way to go, Murray.
And just like that, we're done with the race. This is the longest key pickup animation in the game. Fun fact. Oh, oops. I forgot to split after last one, so we're actually on a much better pace than I thought. We are going to do a fun little trick here known as Mugshot Catapult. It is possible we actually have all of the keys. Oh, I see what I did. Normally we would have all of the keys required to go ahead and just open the car that would normally break into the main lobby for us, and it would break down the door, and then we can go into the main lobby standardly. However, that whole animation and the whole process is very slow, so we're just going to do the normal any % strat and go out of bounds and get into the inside like that. I forgot a bottle over here. Let me make sure not to miss that. I'm going to also do a trick called Aero Proxy. Aero Proxy is a fun one. Let me see if I can get it first. Close. I keep hitting it on the wrong cycle. There we go. Okay, Aero Proxy is really fun. It is a proxy in which you create your own proxy spot. Because basically what I'm doing there is I am pulling the arrow in front of that little chimney stack there, and when I pull the arrow in front of the chimney stack, then I'm creating a spot through which Sly can stick in there and make a little proxy spot for myself. Creating your own manual proxy spot I think is really interesting in terms of game tech, so that's why I always like to try to show that off. The other thing is there is a bottle at the end of the crane that is very, very hard to get to because there is a ton of coins in the way. So that does not only allow us to drop the cannonball in order to access the key, but this bottle right here was actually the one that was on the crane. When you see that crane animation that you saw there, it actually flings the bottle into that location, so we don't have to deal with going through the cane to get either the bottle or the key that would normally be so difficult to do. We can just grab both of those by triggering the cannonball early. That bottle is a little brutal. We're also doing this level in mostly reverse because it allows us to fall down to the bottles rather than having to climb up. A lot of the climbing you do in this level, as you can see, has coins along the pipes and those kinds of things. Doing the level in backwards order allows us to fall down to the bottles, so we don't have to climb up our very difficult pipes in order to do so. Hi, Breezy! How long have I been playing this game? About 3 years now. We're going to fall down here, grab these, and do a fun little out of bounds jump back up. This is a little bottle dispenser, so we're going to allow that to go, grab this vault while that's going, and then grab all the bottles that it dropped. And we have 2 more bottles to grab at the top of this boxy proxy. This is the second time we're doing it because it allows us to just pop up all the way to the top of the roof very, very easily. Very, very easily, I say, as I miss it. Come on, boxy. There we go. That right there is what I try to describe as the even you can do this at home proxy. So like by all means, that proxy is really interesting if you just cause Sly to fall in between that box and the trash can there. As long as he just falls into the correct location, he will just pop up like that. So it's one of the more visually impressive proxies that you can do, just as someone who's never run the game before. Now we're going to do some interesting little file setup for later. We will not be doing 2 to Tango on first pass, because 2 to Tango is actually much easier when you have an ability that you get after having only done Ruby. So we are going to walk into 2 to Tango, we are going to create a save file, we will come back to the save file later. However, for now, it is much faster to not do any of 2 to Tango, so we're just going to set up getting back to this level easier later, and move on. Wait. When does the community realize what? Sorry, I was reading chat. We are also going to go ahead and enter this level. Anzel, I don't remember. I saw your name, but I don't remember if I specifically said hi to you. Hello. Shit went wild for a hot minute. Yeah, I was catching up a little bit. This right here is Mugshot Super Jump. One more interesting property of Super Jumps is that while Sly is being returned to his last known safe location, his hitbox actually stays active for things like loading triggers. Normally you're supposed to collect all of the keys there. You're supposed to open Mugshot's mouth, there's a whole cutscene, there's actually 2 cutscenes regarding it, etc. And then you're finally supposed to go into the boss trigger in order to get into the boss fight. All of that is really long. So what we're going to do is we're going to clip Sly's hitbox through the boss trigger, and it will load us into the boss fight just like that. You did? Hi. Hi. This was possible. The community figured out when this was possible, how long ago, Snuggles? 2 years? I want to say almost 2 years exactly. We're going to do this level mostly as intended as well, but once again there's a lot of little boss things we're going to do to try to manipulate the speed up time. Normally when you finish the first floor there, Mugshot has a cutscene. Rather than having to listen to that cutscene, you can actually cause him to laugh, and his laughter will skip his own cutscene. So basically we're just going to tickle him a little bit, and that will cause him to skip his cutscene and entirely forgot about going on his dialogue about his beautiful guns. We're trying to just optimize the mirrors here, and then on floor 3, once we finish this one, we are going to do a fun little strat called Chandelier. Mugshot will be standing in the center of a chandelier, and we're supposed to slowly get around to each of the mirrors. However, we can also stand on that chandelier, so we're going to do a precise jump out of bounds. Just like that. And now, we are into one of the most infamous levels of the run. This is Back Alley Heist. As you can see, it is incredibly populated by coins. This one is very, very impossible with Magnet. So we are going to be trying to do this without Magnet. We are going to 100% this level. There we go. We abuse the awning mechanics right there, and the awning mechanics abuse will allow us to actually hop where we're not supposed to. And it will allow us to not have to deal with that very coin-filled ladder. Okay, we can do some little manipulation with that guard there in order to make sure that we're not hit. And then we're going to do some more fun guard manipulation right here. Each of these guards has one shot, and then they have to reload. During those reloads, it is way easier to deal with those guards, so we're going to be baiting them out, and then after we bait out their shot, then we can take them out. Normally, this way is supposed to dissuade you from coming over here entirely. However, we are going through the guard route, specifically because there's coins on the other route, and we don't want to have to deal with the coins. So rather than deal with the coins, we're going to elect to deal with the guards. This right here is what the community has named Hell Jump. Hell Jump is fun because it is very, very difficult, but we have a setup for it, so we can do it consistently. Just like that, and there is Hell Jump complete. We're also going to go ahead and grab a safety charm here. And save just in case. Yeah, any percent, especially after World 4 was found, or World 4 skip was found, any percent coinless is kind of like easy at this point, which is kind of funny. We're gonna be really careful of all those coins on the AC units. Grab the ones as we fall down there. We are once again going to be extra safe because this is a marathon setting. We're going to save those bottles, and we're going to do a fun little jump right here where we're going to backslide up and barely touch the mattress to get the bounce without grabbing the coins. There we go. And we are going to do a fun little super jump here. Never mind. That is kind of brutal, actually. We have to do this level one more time now. Oops. I have no idea if Game Champ was the first one to do this any percent coinless. I know Game Champ was the first one to popularize this as being, like, possible. Hi, Jet. How you doing? Okay, we need to go back for the vault now because it is nearly impossible to make it back up to that vault. Ooh. It's nearly impossible to make it back up to that vault once you've already fallen down without that charm because I missed the super jump strat there. So we are just going to go ahead and head back there in order to get back up to the vault. This is a fun little out of bounds. Normally you're supposed to do a big snaking around through those searchlights as you see up there, but rather than do that, we're just going to go ahead and go out of bounds and hop back in. Okay. We can also do a little version of a super jump there in order to make sure that the AC units doesn't pull our momentum downwards, because the game wants us to go downwards and then have to climb back up. Okay, we have gotten the vault, and now it is officially time to do the Master Thief Sprint, also known as the time trial. And then we'll be done with one of the hardest levels in the game, Back Alley Heist. As long as I don't do that. Snuggles, I can't believe how consistent that strat is. It's really fun, though. Thank you, I appreciate that a lot, Jet. I really, really think this category deserves to be shown off in SGDQ, so I'm trying to create a full submission video in order to show that. Perfect! We got the super jump down. Now we just do a couple more careful jumps here around those coins, and we have finished the Master Thief sprint. One of a rare breed. I know, right? We are now ready to head on to World 3.
I figured out a way.
Combination is 5. For that level, yeah, that level is one of the most absolutely brutal, and I've done a ton of practice with it to get it as consistent as that. This level is mostly just as intended. We're going to do a couple little out-of-bounds jumps in order to deal with some coins and get some bottles earlier than we should be able to, including some little precise jumps like this. But this level is mostly as intended. Okay, be careful around all of those coins that those mosquitoes drop. A little out of bounds jump here. We kind of need to brute force our way through this hallway here, so we need to get a little lucky. Perfect! Now we need to just be careful of these coin despawns, and then we can climb our way back up to the top. Now the hitbox for these swamp guards is kind of weird, both the damage and the coin drops, so we need to be a little careful around these. These are some of the more brutal ones that can end a coindo run. Brutal! That's okay. We can just do it again. Since I did take that death, I'm actually going to do a safety save here. Just in case. Woo! They drop so many coins. Okay, careful jump around that. Grab this charm, and then we can jump down here to continue the level. Little out of bounds here to avoid the normal way that you'd have to do that, which is slower. We got an okay coin spawn pattern. Normally, you need to listen to a cutscene on this rat guard spawn and everything like that. However, we are going to jump on that tree and then jump down here to jump around the cutscene trigger that Bentley would normally do to describe that to you. The key is actually being guarded by some voodoo magic. As per game lore, we have to defeat all of those candles in order to free up the key. We've defeated the candles, the rat guards despawn, we grab the key, and we finally have the key and all of the bottles. All gonna be exciting and new. Good to hear. Defeated the candle. You know, you have to defeat the candles. Hi, Swift! I was going to shoot you a DM and ask— oh, what were you gonna ask, Swift? If I was submitting? That infamous Crash Bandicoot run? Which one is that? How long a run? There is not a limit to how long a run can be. So I was going to see you. Yeah, no, I really hope to. If I don't get an actual run in, so I have a surgery pretty soon before GDQ. So I would be really excited to run on the main stage, and I would make it work going from recovery from surgery over to GDQ. However, if I don't get an actual run on the stage, then I'm probably not going to come. That's kind of my theory for now. This level is a very brutal one in terms of Coinless. It is not only a very long level, but there is a ton of coins, and we have to do a ton of fun little strats to get around all those coins. This is one of the first times that you'll see me do roll hovers in this category. Hi, Alpha. Roll hovers are fun. Whenever you circle to a standable object, you get a little pop-up of height, and you can actually use roll to cancel that pop-up of height at the top of it and get more height than you were originally intended, and you suddenly have control of Sly again rather than being forced to land on the object. You can actually do that infinitely and extend infinitely upwards from a standable object. For now, we're not going to do anything too crazy in this level, and we're just going to do little bits of 3 or 4 roll hovers in order to get over some coins. We're basically going to float across where coins would normally be, so we don't have to deal with those. That's fair. That's fair. That's a really good example of some roll hovers. You see I kind of hovered above those coins. That's really, really helpful as far as roll. It's another reason why it's by far my favorite ability in this game. Just some very precise jumps out of bounds, and we are just going to try to be extra, extra careful here, especially in terms of marathon safety. Okay, that right there is the hardest bottle in the game. Ooh, I saved before we got the bottle, so we're good. That right there is by far the hardest bottle. Oh, not the game, but that is by far the hardest bottle in this level. So we got the incredibly hard bottle, I saved, and now we're going to go and get the rest of them. You can do if you have momentum preservation active. Wait, what? Horizontal momentum for roll hovers? Yeah, you can. Yeah, this level is a very much edge of your seat level in terms of this category, which I think is super duper fun. Okay, we have one more brutal bottle to go grab before we grab the key. There we go. There's all bottles in this level. We're going to go ahead and save those to our file and then load in order to get back to the key. Woo! I know, this game is designed like they want you to get coins, which is wild to me, because why would you ever want those coins? That level is a brutal one. Did I still do the pause manipulation? I did. The pause manipulation, we actually recently found out that Bentley likes interrupting so much that he can actually interrupt pause menus, which is beautiful. But that being said, it basically allows us to hide a one-frame pause behind Bentley's cutscene, and it allows us to do some weird pause manipulation in getting out of the level sooner than we should be able to and still maintaining control of Sly, like right there. Oops, missed that one. This level, we are not going to do fish skip because fish skip is brutal and makes me sad, and we do not need to see a brutal, saddening trick during a marathon. We are instead just going to do fish mostly as intended. I'm doing a little bit of a spawn manipulation. As you see, whenever I go back to the center island, there is just a ton of fish in the center there. That is on purpose. I'm basically trying to corral the fish so that they always go back to the center whenever I do this little circle that I do. That's just to make sure that I always have fish to pick from whenever I go back to the center. Oop. We have to light these 25 torches, and each, we only get one light for each fish that we grab. So basically, we just have to grab 25 fish and light all of these torches. 3, 4, and the last one is by the ramp. 52 fish is really not bad for casual fish. We are once again going to pause out of the key animation because the key animation takes forever. I could during the marathon, yeah. Especially if we are ahead of time, I could do an attempt at fish skip. Grave is a very, very fun bottle route to show off. So first and foremost, there is a bottle up at the top of this tree here, up at the top of the stump. We are going to do a big double jump, and we are going to try to extend Sly's cane as much as possible. There we go. That is a very hard one to grab. These brambles, when we break them, actually drop a lot of coins, so we're going to jump around these. And then we are going to be very careful with these ghost spawns because they are spawned around a lot of coins. We are once again going to be very careful with these brambles. We're going to break them, back off, look at our coin pattern, and then we are going to continue if it's safe. That's weird to take damage there, but that's fine. Okay. Trying to be as safe here as possible while also avoiding the coins. We're going to break these brambles. Once again, we're going to despawn these ghosts to look at the coin pattern. Let the coins despawn because they spawned really close to the bottle that we need. There's this little hidden bottle back here. And then we're going to do an out-of-bounds jump to get up to the top of this gator mouth thing. I'm not actually sure where this is going to spawn me in terms of checkpoints, so I need to go ahead and save here and see where it spawns me just to make sure that it doesn't insta-collect a coin for me. There we go. Okay, so that's a safe spawn. Okay, big jump out of bounds here. This is going to get us to the top of this little mouth here. This out of bounds is actually kind of funny too. I'm not doing any actual tech for this jump here. It's just a big double jump out of bounds. You can actually do that one at home. I'm going to jump over here and I'm going to go grab a rope through this invisible wall. Grab the bottles off of there. Once again, you see we're doing the very familiar pattern of going to the top and then falling down to collect all of these bottles because it is faster. And then what we can do is grab all of these bottles, Death Abuse to pop us back up to a much higher checkpoint than we should be at, and that saves quite a bit of time while still getting the bottles at the bottom of the level. We need to be extra careful with this little swamp guard here because his hitbox is very weird and we don't want to deal with that right now. I second, his hitbox is very weird and we don't want to deal with that right now. Get rid of the mosquito. And then we're just going to finish off the level by doing some very precise jumps around these flames, around these coins. There's a ghost spawner in front of us. And we just need to make it to the end of the level while collecting all the bottles very carefully. Can you get more lives? Yes. Past a continue. If you use a continue, it will reset your lives. But that being said, past using a continue, you can actually get more lives from life drops, which are fun. But most of the time during a speedrun, we're just going to force a continue to reset our lives. I don't know why Sly decided to go ahead and fall through the branch there, which is not amazing, but I'm going to save to be extra safe. Okay. This is the last bottle we actually need to collect in this level because the final 4 bottles are right next to the vault, and we can get to the vault pretty consistently. Actually, if you already have 2 charms, coins give you a life instead of a charm. So yeah, coins can give you lives. Down home, no resets. Chickens is going to be, once again, mostly as intended. We're going to be doing some spawn manipulation for the chickens, as well as the roosters, but past that, we are just going to be trying to take as optimal lines as possible. The roosters have an interesting mechanic where they can only spawn through the gates that are currently on screen, so we're actually going to be trying to minimize the amount of gates that are on screen whenever the roosters do pop here. So when there's a new set of roosters spawn, we try to minimize where they could spawn from in order to be a little more predictable. This level does have quite a bit of RNG, so we try to be a little careful around this level. The lore for this level is always fun. There is a ghost above us who says that they will give us one of the 7 keys that we need if we provide that ghost with 50 chickens to make a pot of gumbo. Why that ghost needs a pot of gumbo, let alone 50 chickens worth of a pot of gumbo, I still to this day have no idea. But they do, and they give us a key for it. Very clean chickens. We're going to do a little cane swing here that's going to skip an animation of getting on the skip there, just save like a second or two.
That vehicle seems to be outfitted with some sort of
And then this is another auto-scroller level. This would be a pretty good place to read donations.
and aim the right analog stick.
Yeah, that is a proper gold.
Remember, you can always shoot in one direction while moving in another.
The only thing I'm really doing to try to optimize this level is at the beginning auto-scroller section, the ghosts spawn based off slide proximity, so I'm waiting until the spawner is near to the front of the boat, and then running forward so that we don't spawn very many ghosts and I can break it as quick as possible. Glide! The other thing is there's a little bit of waiting in this level just because the coin spawns are crazy and the skiff hitbox is way bigger than you think it is. So we're going to be waiting for coins to despawn quite a bit in this level just to be extra safe. Just to be extra safe! Isn't that right, chat?
That vehicle seems to be outfitted with some sort of high-energy cannon. Use the left analog stick to move, and aim the right analog stick in the direction you want to shoot. Remember, you can always shoot in one direction while moving in another.
That's okay. Like I said before, I'm trying to show that even with mistakes, this run is still very marathon safe at a 3-hour estimate. So whether or not this thing drops coins is actually dependent on whether or not the skiff has, like, finished unloading you. So you see how it didn't drop coins at all that time? Yeah, that's what I was expecting. Most of the 25 minutes of time save is actually towards the end. So we just need to match PB pace until the end of the run. And that's how we PB on this run. Okay, just be really careful around the coin spawns here. We don't want to risk any of them. There we go. We can also actually rush these barriers here, so we can just break them as fast as possible and go through them because the coins that spawn do not have a hitbox yet. Okay, we're just trying to break all the obstacles as soon as possible so we can get the coin spawns out of the way as fast as possible. Okay. Let's see see if we can just very quickly get this middle pillar broken. We can. Very good. Now we need to be careful here because not only are we getting a ton of ghost spawns, but there are a lot of objects that drop coins here, and all of these barriers drop a ton of coins, so we just need to be extra careful that we break all those ghost pillars, and then we can collect the key safely. Now this next level has one of my absolute favorite bottle routes in the game. Nice recovery, thank you, thank you. Ghastly skip. I'm definitely going to attempt it at least once during the marathon, for sure. Oh, not full ghastly skip. Just first floor skip.
Oh my god, the green waterfall overflowing.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and wait this cycle just in case.
I'm telling you, the health department's going to come down big time on
So that is a special cane jump called Bone Jump. Bone Jump is a little brutal. So the devs for this game had a little bit of a, there's no way the player can get there itis. That being said, the water below us here that leads up to the key does not have a death hitbox. So that being said, I'm pretty sure that their original reaction was there's no way the player can get there anyways. However, we found out a way to get there. So we can just go ahead and swim to the key through here because this does not have a death hitbox. This is called Scuba Skip, which I think is very aptly named. So there is the key, and then we're going to go back for the bottles. The bottles are going to use a very interesting little route. We're going to use the same out of bounds. However, we're going to climb to the top here. We also have to do quite a bit of the level when you come back for the vault anyways. So we're only going to get half of the bottles in this level on the first pass because we have to do the other half of the level regardless later. Okay, we're going to do a fun little out of bounds off of this torch right here. Save the game, and then it's time for chickens. Just kidding, chickens is the closest level to Ruby, and the easiest way to actually get back to Ruby in order to put all the 7 keys in, and start the boss fight is go back to chickens and then just immediately leave the level. Yep, yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Why not do chickens then? Because we need to have the level on our minimap, and in order to do that, we need to enter the level anyways. So because we already have to enter the level in order to spawn there to begin with, we might as well just finish the level. Yeah. Feels really open. Exactly! And that's one of the reasons that I think that Sly 1 is the best speed game of the Sly series, is because it feels really open with all of the movement that you have available to you. Okay, for Ruby we're gonna do a fun little out of bounds here. That out of bounds has a twofold purpose. Not only is it faster, but it actually allows us to get out over Ruby. In the boss fight, this water right here is actually considered a checkpoint. So as soon as Sly touches the water, then the game thinks that we are already in the next phase, therefore skipping a cutscene and starting the second phase. The game assumes that we already died in the second phase, so we might as well be respawned there. Blindfolded out of bounds sounds so brutal. When Ruby I'm just saying, GDQ, Ruby Blindfolded got a lot of hype during Frost. If you want me to do Ruby Blindfolded again, I will. You just gotta accept the run. I'm really curious to see if the run graders watch the entire run. Or if they watch towards the beginning and see how interested they are in it to begin with. Like that kind of thing. The most impressive? Yeah, I know, right? I think platforming blindfold is way more impressive than pattern recognition blindfolded. Yeah, I also know that a lot of the run graders for GDQ are volunteers. So they're probably, you know, out there trying their best. I doubt that if you volunteer in order to analyze games, you're half-assing it, you know? Yeah, we're actually going to end the Ruby fight here. There is supposed to be one more phase. However, the devs actually messed up coding our hitbox and it doesn't disappear properly. So we can spam square on this. We are going to go ahead and load the game. Spam square. We're going to finish off Ruby on that phase. Then we're going to leave. Want to get the end? Yeah, that's super fair. That's super fair. And just like that, we are into World 4. Okay, bottle collection for this level on the first pass is fairly straightforward. It's crazy to think that of all of the difficult levels we've seen, we haven't even gotten to the hardest parts of the run yet. As soon as we grab Magnet, Magnet is going to increase Sly's hitbox for coins by about 7 times. And that is going to make the run much harder than it has been up to this point. There is a big cutscene here. I need to be really, really careful. So I don't trigger that. We're going to just swing Sly's cane as far out as possible to make sure we don't trigger the cutscene and grab that bottle. We're going to now do an out of bounds to dodge that exact same cutscene. The rolling bounce thing. Oh, you know I'm going to do the rolling bounce thing. That went Noom. Okay, just a couple little precise jumps around these coins here. Rolling bounce thing? Yes, yes, Snuggles, I'm excited to show it to you. It's on APA second pass. It's basically only useful for this category, but you'll see. You will see. Once again, remember that guard's vision is only on their flashlight. We can actually use that little statue in order to make sure the guard can't see us there. I think I know what it is. Oh, you might then. Grab these bottles. Crashing more bottles. Fair. Yeah, they do have the same sound. We're actually going to do a super jump here. It's actually slower to go over there, grab the key, and then run back and use the key to unlock the store as intended. So we're going to do a super jump to clip Sly's hitbox through this loading trigger. We are going to load the World 4 hub so it is officially on our map as a teleport point, and then we're going to go back and collect the remaining bottles and key here. Camera, cooperate with me, thank you. So whenever you alert one of the guards, it actually alerts all of the guards together, because they act as a hive mind. That being said, they all go to the alarm that is hit, so we need to be really careful and take it slow with these guards. Just to be extra safe. There are all the bottles, here's the key, and rather than watch the key animation, we can go ahead and just immediately go into the World 4 hub. Now this is King of the Hill. You can roll above the door?
Let's do it, Sly.
I had never heard of that before. Once again, we are just going to try to escort Murray as fast as possible here. I actually have to go back for the other Murray level, the other Murray escort level in World 2. But basically, our goal here is to just hit the guards as fast as possible because we need to make sure that they don't startle Murray and that they don't hit Murray. We are trying to escort Murray as fast as possible, and every time he gets startled, it loses just a little bit of time. The clip of it? Okay. I can't watch it for a bit, though.
Oh, thanks. I made it
Bum,
halfway.
ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-da-da-dum.
Oh,
That hit Murray? That's crazy. I can't believe that hit Murray.
let's do
That's
it,
disappointing.
Sly.
The guards here are not RNG, as you can see, doing a second time. They always spawn in the same location, so I'm just going to the next guard spawn location as fast as possible.
Bingo. I made it halfway.
Meh. Ooh. Okay. Can you hit Murray? Yes, you can hit Murray. Guard spawns here are entirely random, unlike the rest of the guard spawns. The ones on the roof actually take longer to spawn and track in on, so we want to have as many of the guards spawn in the doors below as possible, because that actually saves us a little bit of time. Okay. Now we are on to Unseen Foe. Once again, I need to be very careful about not hitting guards around loading triggers, because if they drop a coin and we hit the loading trigger at the same time, then it will just collect the coin and the run will just be over. Rather than use our invisibility to ride along these conveyor belts, it will be much slower, so we're just going to make the guard miss while he's reloading. Once again, we are going to take him out.
While invisible, nothing can see you. Not lasers, not searchlights,
We're going
not
to grab these bottles and do a
if the guards already see
precise little jump when this guard turns around again.
trick won't work on them.
Or I'm gonna die, and then after I die, I will show you the precise jump afterwards. Dual sling possible in this run? No. Wait. You know what? I might as well just take the death here and trigger the game over and reset my lives. Though slaying is going to be only possible in all queues. It's too precise. That's what I figured. Okay, we're gonna be really careful with these fireworks. We're going to do a fun little thing here. We're going to once again get the top checkpoint up here. And then when we get some more bottles later, we're going to do a death abuse in order to spawn us at a checkpoint that's much further in the level. For now, we're going to do a proxy that is going to pop us up to the top checkpoint. There we go. Fun fact, did you know that originally the checkpoint does a little flash there because it was supposed to be someone taking a picture of Sly? In the original concept. It's crazy. Who is it supposed to be? Some, like, fan group. I don't remember who. Grab these bottles. Do a little out of bounds jump on this tree branch here. And we officially have all of the bottles on the lower level, so now we can do the death abuse and get the ones on the top. Be very careful right there. I am missing one. It is right over here. I also need to be very careful with this circle under the hook because there is a standable object below me, and circle hitboxes actually extend infinitely upwards. That will return later. That information is actually very important to know. That being said, I need to be really careful to not circle to that instead, so I stand a little bit back in order to grab onto the hook. We have all of the bottles we need now because the last one is next to the vault, and we will grab the final one when we go back to the vault. And we are out of Unseen Foe. This is a prize we'll use later. Hi, Albie! I have no idea, Alpha. Okay, on to Flaming Temple. We're actually going to make another save here, because we are once again going to use a binoc double pause manipulation strat in order to get back here later. We're going to do a fun little strat here called Displacement. As you can see, Sly is supposed to be running or sliding down the rail with all the coins on it. However, the game tries to calculate when you go from one circleable object to another, the distance between those two circleable objects. And if we cane jump off of the object further away than we're supposed to be, then the game tries to calculate much further away, and it places Sly in a very weird slidey state away from where he's actually supposed to be sliding. That's not how anything works, I know, right? I need Sly to ledge grab this, please. There are a couple ways to remove displacement, one of which is ledge grabbing. So I'm actually going to purposely ledge grab right there and remove the displacement to make this rail walk not as difficult. And then we're going to do a couple death abuses, once again, to grab these bottles as cleanly as possible. This is a fun little out of bounds that's going to get us to some lower bottles. So there's those there, and then there's a couple more down here. I love displacement. Displacement as a strat is so funny. Okay. Here's our first death abuse. And then we're going to do the exact same thing for some more bottles below us. We have these, and then we have one more little vault here. And there's our second one. Oops all bangers again, oops all bangers again. Just some careful jumps around those coins on that rail there. You're about to see the first major roll hover we're going to do in the run. I've already used roll hover a couple times just for little places, especially if you remember I noted that in lair. However, getting to this next key is brutally difficult, near impossible without roll hover, so what we're going to do is instead grab these final bottles, and we are going to use roll hover to get an infinite amount of distance upwards, and that infinite amount of distance upwards will allow us to fly over to that key, over there, as you can see, without having to climb up several difficult pulls that are near impossible without the roll hover. Now remember what I said, that the circle hitbox extends infinitely upwards. That being said, that is exactly what we're doing right now. The circle hitbox extends infinitely upwards, so we can recircle to the exact same object an infinite amount of times, all the way up above the skybox. We're using roll to cancel us at the top of the momentum, and then we are recircling to it to gain once again more momentum upwards. So that is the way that the roll hovers work. We are going to use this a few more times, but this is the first major one we're going to do in the run. Okay, Sly was actually traveling during the wire there, which kind of worries me slightly, so I don't know exactly where he's going to land here because he's been traveling a little bit during that. But we're going to land well, perfect. A little bit of ad-libbing on that one, but that's fine. It's 2 in the zone. I'm also trying to not acknowledge that during a GDQ admission video. Now we have spinning. This level has a little bit of RNG to it. Hopefully it'll be nice to me because it was not nice to me at Frost. This level standardly is like over 3 minutes long. You have to use the skiff to escort yourself all the way down to the key. It's a long, windy level. However, what we can do is we can stick ourselves in this corner here and we can spin. The spinning will actually clip the nozzle into the door on your right there, and it will give us a little pop-up up over the railing, and we can fall down onto the key. And I enjoyed that trick so much that I'm going to show y'all again. Why are you not opening the vault? Because we don't open the vault yet. Come on. It was nice to me the first time. Please be nice to me the second time. I promise that I didn't take that niceness for granted. There we go. Thank you, Sly. That right there is Cinder Pillar Skip. We can actually land on top of the pillar that the key is supposed to be on. We're normally supposed to shoot down that pillar. It takes a long amount of time. We don't want to deal with that, so we're going to just land directly on the key, grab it, and then leave. Trick so nice, I had to do it twice, Yeah, if I open the vault there, then I'm going to grab Magnet earlier than we need to have, and if I grab Magnet earlier than we need to have, then I'm going to make some of the levels impossible for later. In particular, this is the next level that is impossible to do with Magnet. Normally Carmelita is supposed to have a long, flirty cutscene with Sly here. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to jump around the bounds of that cutscene. It's a little precise, but it's honestly not that bad. I'm going to break these pillars, and then I'm going to wait for the coins to despawn before I grab those bottles. Carm does actually have a timer on when she's allowed to shoot again after she shoots once. So what we can do there is we can cause Carmelita to shoot, and then we can run past her during the timer where she's not allowed to shoot again. And because we can run past her during the timer where she's not allowed to shoot again, she can't break the bridge on the right, so that we can go ahead and use the bridge to run past without having to worry about the coins on the spires. Okay, this pole climb is very difficult, so I'm actually going to use slow to do this. It's possible to do without slow, but slow increases the amount of frames we have to react to it. So I'm going to use slow to slow climb that pole, just to be extra safe. I'm using cane jumps there to make sure that Sly doesn't grab onto the pole. It is very, very precise, which is why I'm using slow there rather than just doing it manually. Okay, I have the lives to death abuse. I am once again going to hit a checkpoint that is later than we're supposed to be. Then I'm going to make my way along this path, and we're going to collect the bottles down here. However, once we have all the bottles collected, then we're going to death abuse to that checkpoint that I just collected in order to zip us forward into the level. Okay. I need to get rid of that charm in order to death abuse right after this vault here. There we go. Okay, Carmelita does have a little RNG in her shots here, and I need her to not be mean to me, so please be kind, Carmelita. Did I scare y'all? Carmelita is huge, in fact. Sly's cannon feet is like just over 5 feet. Or cannon height is like just over 5 feet. If you compare, Carmelita is like 8 feet plus. It's ridiculous. She is massive.
Interesting. Chris Cooper's dive collection technique. This move is an extension of the dive move.
Okay, that is officially one vault before Magnet.
Triangle button near breakable objects for some fast breaking, fast collecting action.
Now, because this level is impossible with Magnet, we do have to 100% it before we grab Magnet, so I'm going to grab that vault. I'm going to go up here and grab the key. I'm going to be really careful of coin spawns off of those rocks breaking. And then after I grab the key here, I'm going to go ahead and do the MTS as well. I do hit those fireworks in a very specific order, on purpose. If you hit them in a different order, there is a possibility that Carmelita actually breaks one of the fireworks in the air. That can entirely soft block you because you need to hit all 5 fireworks on that dragon's head, and if you don't, then Carmelita will just stand there and awkwardly stare at you the entire time while she fires shock pistols at you, and you can't do anything about it. Oh my gosh, Gwen. Master Thief sprints are pretty mean in this game. They take away your charms, and they are very tight, as well as you cannot use any death abuse strats or anything like that, so you have to be very careful on the Master Thief sprints. However, one nice thing that Master Thief sprints do is they actually do disable cutscenes. So we don't have to worry about getting around the Carmelita cutscene. Finally, at least during the Master Thief sprint, Carmelita understands that speedrunners don't have time for flirty cutscenes. We once again have to climb this pole very, very carefully. I've gotten way too consistent at that pole climb. And we are actually going to, on this path, because we don't have any more bottles to collect, do an interesting little out-of-bounds jump right here. Get Sly to grab onto that, and then one very careful jump around that lamp with coins. We need Carmelita once again to be a little nice to us in terms of her RNG shots here. Thank you, Carmelita. I appreciate it. Okay, be careful of the coin spawns. And this is a first try dual MTS. Coindo God, thank you. Perfect. That is a legitimate gold too. Hype. Okay, if you remember the last brutal race level, we have one more of those. This race is very, very difficult. Once again, we have to do what we did before. However, I'm just going to do my best to try to drive optimal lines, avoid the nitro boost unless they're directly on my path. However, this level has ice physics. So yeah, we get to drive on ice physics now. Which is just brutal. Driving on ice physics. Honestly, like, they were like, what can we do to make a race even more enjoyable for the player? And what's more enjoyable than ice physics? Nothing.
Keep clear of those icy patches.
Thanks for the advice, Sly, but trust me, I got this under control.
Oof, close. Almost first try. Crop out chat and submission? No. My chat is with me through and through. I forgot to say that we don't need to actually play that level. There is a break in the invisible wall that's protecting the key there, and as soon as the game registers that Murray is in the winner's circle, it assumes that you've already completed the 3 laps, so it just goes ahead and gives you the key. We can do a little precise nitro boost off the wall there in order to jump into the winner's circle early, which is very nice that we don't have to play that. We are once again going to go ahead and reset to skip the long villainous monologue because speedrunners don't have time for villainous monologues. Now we are once again going to do Panda King, mostly intended for the boss fight. However, there's a fun little strat you can do. After hitting him 10 times, he's supposed to belly bump you backwards. But if you do a precise jump on top of his belly, then he belly bumps you upwards instead, and you can just continue to keep hitting him rather than have to climb the path back up to him. You sly dog! You skipped me monologuing! There we go. Oh my god. And panicking is done.
Okay, partner.
Hey, Sly!
Fails without ruling. Really?
Whoa! Check out all those mines! Think you can blow them away and clear a safe path for us?
The Hazardous Path is just a full auto-scroller. We're going to be shooting to try to protect the van as much as possible between these Robo-Falcons and some mines on the ground. This is another really good place for donations.
First things first, we've got hostile Robo-Falcons at 12 o'clock.
We try to pre-shoot these boulders before they actually fall, so as few of the boulders are falling as possible and we don't have to worry about them as much.
Heads up! The Robo-Falcons are back!
Most of the Robo-Falcons actually have a path that kind of puts them in this little top left quadrant of the screen right there. So as long as you are up in that top left quadrant and just barely adjust your aim, then you can hit most of them without having to get out of your way, which is really nice. Here we go. Yeah, no, you should eat, please, by all means. It's gone after that, wow.
Nice shooting!
Woo!
Looks like we're in the clear!
Hurry. That cave doesn't look tall enough for the turret to make it all the way through.
Chat, can you believe that we're already almost 2/3 way through the run? Now, we are going to do a little interesting strat to start burning rubber here.
There are only 119 computers up there, and these fire slugs seem
Oh, that's why it's stopped. Okay, that actually makes a lot of sense. Fall off, cool. So there are slugs that are contesting you for computers here. You have to hit 60 computers before the slugs do. What we're doing there when we start the run is that back wall is actually invisible. It doesn't have a hitbox. So you can throw one of the slugs out the back wall and despawn it. That is called the slug despawn. I put despawn in quotes there though because you're not technically despawning it. You're just throwing it out into the black void of nothingness and making it fall for all of eternity. Don't think about that too hard. However, there are only 4 slugs that are actually contesting you. It may look like these slugs are infinitely spawning in order to contest you for the computers, but that's not what's happening. Whenever you hit a slug, they actually fall into the side of the arena and then they crawl back up to the ramps onto the pit, or into the center, so they can continue contesting you for the computers. So when you do actually despawn 1, then you are only contesting 3 slugs for the computers instead of 4, and with that there's more computers on the field and it ends up saving some time. So it is worth it to despawn that 1. It is only worth it to despawn that 1, however, because the other ones are less consistent on when you will have one coming at you from that back wall, right in that position. However, because we have one starting during this mini game coming at you from that back wall, we might as well go ahead and despawn the one we already know is going to be coming from that position. And then the other ones, if you wanted to despawn all 4 slugs, you can. However, it is slower during the actual run to try to set up so that you spawn or that you despawn all 4 slugs, and you might as well just despawn the 1 and then contest the other 3.
Nice driving, Murray. Now we have enough data to open the security doors. Just pass them in the control rooms of Clockwork's death ray.
Nietzsche, yeah, Nietzsche is so excited for that slug.
It's time for some Cooper thieving and sabotage. Don't you think, Sly?
Okay. Wait. We do need to save here, right? Yeah. Okay, so now that is a Binoc double pause. What we're doing right there is we are loading all of our bottles, all of our keys, all of our progress into a different file. We are loading it into the file that we actually duplicated onto Tango. So we're loading all of our current progress into a level that we need to be doing now.
Locator tells me it's in a jewel case somewhere near Mugshot's.
We're going to collect these initial bottles. And then we're going to do a fun little trick. This is Antenna Proxy. It is part of the full trick called Date Skip. Normally, on that roof over there, Carmelita stops Sly, and they once again have one of their long, flirty interactions. The community likes to joke about that being their dates. That being said, we are going to skip that date. I'm sorry, Carmelita and Sly. However, they take just simply too long during the actual speedrun, so we are going to go ahead and skip it during the run. The thing that we needed to come back here for in order to make the run more viable was after we got invisibility. Invisibility is what allows us to stick us in some weird little places, like this little spot behind Water Tower. That will allow us to artificially create some proxies that will make it way easier for us to grab some bottles, rather than having to go around this very coin-filled level. So that right there, rather than having to climb up the like coin-filled pipes and spires, we can just go ahead and have the water tower launch us up there. And we're going to do that one more time. I'm going to safety save because this level is brutal. There we go. Big launch across the roofs here. Hopefully Carmelita is nice to us here because we really need this antenna to stay intact. Perfect, thank you. Carmelita can shoot that antenna in order to make our lives a little extra difficult. She doesn't really like that we skip date night, and honestly I can't blame her. However, we have bottles to collect. We are going to collect the remaining bottles inside here, and then there is a very long, winding, coin-filled path in order to get the key after this. We actually found out that it is not required to go through that very, very difficult path in order to get the key after this. Rather... Oh yeah, we can also trick that guard right there by jumping on that piece of wood. Because that wood is technically out of bounds, he doesn't know how to shoot Sly, even though he's seen Sly. That being said, we are going to, rather than go through the long intended windy path, do a proxy that I have nicknamed Neenant Proxy, also known as Neen the Second Proxy. Right there. And that is going to get us to the top of this roof here, and now this allows us to avoid the entire rest of this by just jumping down here onto the crane. Dinner with Mom went well. Good to hear. Welcome back, Crypt.
Can't run forever.
Nice bit of time saved there. And now we are back to Flaming Temple of Flame. We are going to do another Binoc double pause to load all of our keys that we just collected into Flaming Temple. And we are going to go do another roll hover that we did for the key in order to grab the vault. This vault will officially be magnet. So after grabbing this vault, the run will officially get way, way harder. So be ready for some extra intensely precise jumps. If you thought the run was hard beforehand, just wait. The Krant proxy? Land on the can- Yeah, no, so, the reason that I named that Neenant proxy is because Boxy proxy and Straight to the Top is also known as Neen proxy, named after Neon, the Sly Runner, because of course it is. And rather than, you know, anything else creative, I named the other Neen proxy too, also known as Not Neen proxy, also known as Neenant. Hey, is this the Depresso? What's up? So we have to go a little extra high on this one just to make sure that we don't hit the exit trigger. Because once you grab a key in a level, it spawns an exit trigger, which you've been seeing me go to in the MTSs. However, we need to make sure that we go over that exit trigger. Because landing in that exit trigger after doing this very big roll hover would be very sad. We need to go over it to make it to the vault on the other side. And now we officially have magnet. We are going to do a weird little manipulation here. If you remember me saying the timer does not count down while the Binocucom is open, it is actually possible to keep the Binocucom open while we're moving Sly. So we are going to keep the Binocucom open while we're moving Sly. We're going to grab the timer to do the MTS. This MTS with the coins in the way takes longer than the actual timer gives you time for. So we are just going to stop the MTS timer entirely. Yeah, it is officially time for hard mode. There we go. Okay, so I have my camera facing the correct direction, and now we go to space. Something else that Mapio found is that once you hit a certain height in the level, the roll hover or the circle hitbox just breaks. So once we hit a certain height, we can actually just spam circle and spam all the way to space. I do still have to get pretty high. I have to break out of the skybox on the top, but that being said, we only have to go so high with the precise roll hovers, and then we can just spam circle to get to the top. Marathon, thank you for the luck. And there we go. We now broke the circle hitbox, so we can just spam circle to make it all the way back to the top. And we're good. Now we just hold forward and let Sly fall into the final trigger. Woo! Now that we officially have Magnet, we have done all of the levels where it's not possible to do Magnet, and we are going to go back and do all of the levels where it is possible to do Magnet with Magnet. So this is officially the scary part of the run. Y'all will probably see just how huge the Magnet hitbox is here soon. However, if it's up to me, hopefully I don't show you how huge the Magnet hitbox is, because doing so would involve hitting a coin. That is Cran's proxy. It's one of my absolute favorite proxies in the game. It is not only incredibly helpful, but it is very consistent and is named after a very beloved Sly runner.
Press the circle to enter the vault code. It was a challenge, but this vault's combination...
Ayo, time save. Bum ba dum bum 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 bum. Okay, we're gonna do that one more time, but this time we're going to go to the end level trigger. Okay. Dude. Hi, Celestial Knight. How you doing? Perfect. And now we're going to do Perilous. We're actually going to enter Perilous from the back because the vault is towards the end of the level. We are going to do a precise little jump because normally the gate over here is supposed to be down if you're going from the front to the back of the level. However, because we're entering from the back, then we need to do a little out-of-bounds jump. Thank you for the GLHF. This jump is kind of brutal, so hopefully I hit it quickly. You would? I would, yeah. Nice. Second try's not bad at all. We take those.
Press the circle.
Okay.
Enter the vault code. I got a real headache figuring this one out.
And now, once again, we have to finish the Master Thief sprint. Now, we are going to do a big jump to skip most of the level here. Big jump. No! That was the bounce, Snuggles. I got unlucky as to where the guard was, but yeah, that's the bounce I was talking about. Yeah, you just go noom. Noom, okay, okay. Boink. I cancelled it a little early because I was worried about the guard, but you can make it all the way to the guards just with that momentum. It's crazy. Noom. I has lag. Oh no. Okay, we need to be a little careful here. In terms of that guard being incredibly rich. And then we are once again going to clip through here. Perfect! And we have officially cleaned up all of World 4. We're going to head back now to clean up to World 3. We recently found out a fun little strat for this level for finishing it much faster than we were doing before. We were doing a big roll hover all the way to the top. We actually found out you can just jump down here and go out of bounds the normal way because there's no coins on the bottom of this thing over here. So, yeah. It saves a ton of time, which is super duper nice. I can't believe we didn't think about it before, but now we have the time save.
Some personal demons to get the answer to this one.
Okay, and then we're gonna do the exact same thing for the Master Thief sprint. Really, Sly? Really? Really? 404? So my theory is that, Bentley for that vault says he has to deal with some strong personal demons. I think that this vault, especially considering it's in Lair inside Ruby's place, is supposed to be 666. However, I think that they decided that that was too much for a children's game. so they decided to change it. That's my theory on it, at the very least. Sly! Hold on, let me focus, y'all. Give me 1 sec. This is where I would have my co-commentator taken. Oh yeah, they could have been going the Japanese route. She. Fair. Good luck in Japan. Yeah, Sucker Punch isn't a Japanese studio though, is it? I thought it was an American studio, which is like where I was thinking. But maybe it was like supposed to be a Japanese Easter egg or something. I don't know. Okay, I'm doing some very precise jumps, and that is on purpose because those coin hitboxes are all close enough together that you can't jump in between them anymore with magnets, so we have to just do some very precise jumps around them. We're going to roll hover over the invisible border that's protecting us between this and the vault. Why no Van Proxy? Because I forgot it existed. So, yeah.
Press the circle to enter the vault code. If I did my math right, and I always...
That instead next time, that sounds good. 1D rush run, exactly. GDQ, this is after 1D rush run. Imagine the run that I could give y'all if you, like, accept this run and then give me time to, like, grind it down. Imagine. So this time I'm not doing Van Proxy because I worry that the camera needs to be so precise for Van Proxy that my abusing the Void Drown, the like water Void Drown there, not Void Drown, the like the water hitbox there changes the camera angle. Okay. There's Dread Swamp on the grave. So this is a fun little out of bounds. The vault is right on the other side to the right of where you enter. However, this little tree limb sticking out here is actually standable, so we can use Sly to ledge grab that, jump over here, jump a little out of bounds, and as you can see, the corner of the vault over there. And then we jump back in bounds here, grab our final 4 bottles that I mentioned earlier, and here's our vault. Now we need to do it one more time for the Master Thief Sprint. That will be the general pattern that you'll see for a lot of these levels. We also officially have Fast. Fast speeds up the game, just like literally. So that being said, a lot of speedrunners love Fast because it just literally speeds up the game. And we can use it to go much faster, just by doing everything with the speed up. There we go. Now on to Descent. 20 minutes. Yeah, go eat, please. That right there is a really good example of how massive the magnet hitbox is. We need to get a little lucky and not have the coins spawn too close to me. There we go. Hold on, I'm gonna be careful here. Now, if you remember me saying that we need to come back and do half the level to get to the vault anyways, for this level, that's exactly what we're doing here. We actually can't use fast during anyone speaking as far as cutscenes. We're also going to do a little super jump here. We're going to attach to that branch there. We have water safety, so this does not take away our charm. And we are going to do a fun little jump around these coins here. And by fun, I mean very brutal jump around these coins here. And we're going to need to do that one more time. Double check, okay. Okay, once again, same strats. We're going to jump on that branch, set our position as that branch. We're going to do a super jump to grab these. We're not going to lose our charm because we have the water safety now from one of the vaults. I'm going to go ahead and wait for this head to throw here. Big jump around those coins. I actually don't like that the head is that close when you hit him. So I actually tend not to hit him, which maybe I should if he's gonna be rude like that. I'm gonna hit the guard before collecting these bottles so that it gives us time to wait out the coins. Fast is not only helpful because it allows Sly to physically go much faster, however it allows us to wait much faster. Because we are just speeding up time, we can wait but fast. And now we officially have the vault. We need to do one more time for the Master Thief Sprint, as is the pattern. Master Thief Sprint is going to be using Scuba, just like we did on the first pass. Fuck. What do you mean rerouted? That barely missed, wow. And do the tree proxy? There's a proxy up to the vault? Because when we first routed this, there was no proxy up to the vault. Yeah, this is PB potential. And that's why we did this. That's why we did this routing. I cannot get him to grab this ledge. There we go. There we go. Alright, into World 1 cleanup. Now that we have water protection, I actually purposely routed ASA to be late into the cleanup because we wanted water protection. We can do a fun little strat called Avoid Drown. Found it for Latchless, that makes sense. Void Drowns are very, very fun. It is another offset of super jumping in that we are going to set our last known position. However, we are going to have Sly's hitbox clip the side of a water plane while it's out of bounds. And then while out of bounds is going to fall into the void much, much further than the game originally intended you to be able to fall. And what that allows is us to gain massive amounts of distance away from our original point and therefore accumulate a massive amount of speed, ramping back up to that original point. There we go. And here's the actual void of the void drown part. It gives us a mass amount of speed launched all the way up there, and that is going to send us across the entire level. It is not only fast, but we don't have to deal with any of those pesky coins on the way down here. Now it's time for Fire Down Below. Luckily, Fire Down Below is very kind to us, and the vault is right here.
Press the circle to enter the vault code. I'm unbeatable! No code can...
And now it's time for the MTS. Oop, that's brutal. A little jump over the void there in order to jump over his hammer, because his hammer is very, very big as far as hitbox goes. I'm actually going to— No! Sly, why? Sly, why? Unintentional stuck spots are the worst. Okay, so I'm going to go over here. I'm going to open the Badakicom in order to save the time on the timer in order to let those despawn. I'm going to do another little boost jump here. The boost jump should try to get us to the top of this pipe. Come on. Maybe I just try to do the, yeah, that jump. There we go. Jumping us to the top of that pipe, it is very, very difficult to get up there without doing that very difficult jump. So, that being said, we're going to just jump up there, and that will allow us to get up to this point without having to go through the coin parts. Then we have a fun little extra section for this right here. What you can actually do is you can throw mine. Mine will allow you to break that piece of glass remotely. We are going to wait for those coins to despawn and be extra safe here. I'm going to do that really quick just to make sure that we have the time on the timer that we need. I'm going to die anyways and be very sad about it and then have to do the level again. And now I'm going to hard focus. Sly, come on, man. You gotta work with me here. You gotta work with me here, man. Come on. Yeah, moments like this are a good time for donations to be read for sure. There we go. Remember what I said at the very beginning about how the World 1 MTSs are very, very brutal? Just a reminder for that. Now on to ACT. This is a brutal jump with magnet. As you can see, this one coin provided us a lot of problems when we were originally routing this. You can stand on the barrel if you jump and swing your cane. Jumping and swing your cane allows you to stand on the barrel, and that gets you just enough height to jump over that coin. However, the jump is still very precise. So I'm going to go ahead and use slow to try to maximize my distance here. Perfect. I'm going to use something called ACD proxy, a cunning disguise proxy, to jump up here towards the end of the level. I'm going to go ahead and dive into those coins, be upset about it, and then reset the level. We're going to do it all one more time. Okay, we're good. We were almost not good, thank you, elevator. Come on. This trick has a little bit of RNG to it in that it has human RNG. If you can do the exact same inputs every time, you will able to get a task to do it the exact same way every time. However, because this needs to be in a very, very specific timing, we need to just basically spam until we get it. There we go. Okay, we have fast. I'm trying to use fast in order to force these coins to wait out as fast as possible. I am also going to go ahead and break this because I don't want to have to deal with the pressure of one cycling the jump on the bridge over there. We are going to do a very big jump around these coins. It's very, very scary. Up onto this bookshelf. And now we can grab these final bottles and grab the vault for this level. There we go. Onto the Master Thief Sprint. You missed it the first time. You're welcome. You are welcome. Now we have to do this brutal jump one more time. And now it is time for ACD proxy. First, try ACD proxy into the level trigger, and we got some time save. 6 minutes at all. You got this! Now we have a very fun strat for Gunboat Graveyard. There are some very brutal coins to get across in this water here. However, it is possible to jump on this out-of-bounds piece of floating terrain. We found that this was possible, but only while it's on the low point. So that is a very precise jump because you have to jump on it in a specific point during the floating cycle. Dang. Close. Available in a real run? Yeah! No, the slowdown is an ability. You just unlock it from one of your vaults. The third vault, to be precise. Yeah, it's not a dev code or anything. That is the third vault. Nope. Come over here. Who said Gunboat BBJ was hard? Okay, we're gonna do just the exact same strat again to get over to the key. We're under a little bit of time pressure this time, though. But we're speedrunners, we're used to time pressure. One more time. No! Invisible barriers, why? Invisible barriers, why? That was perfect if that wasn't for the invisible wall there. I've gotten super consistent on that out of bounds. That out of bounds is brutal too. Ta-da! Just like that, World 1 done. Everyone was this descriptive, right? Into the final world for cleanup, World 2. We are going to do a trick called Ketus. The guards, canonically, are actually named Cletus in this level, the little ones. That being said, we nicknamed it Cletus Launch to the Key, aka Ketus. We're trying to nail it twice. I don't know if we should call the first try Vetus, because I'm going to be going Cletus Launch to the vault, but, you know, maybe we should. Missed it. I'm actually just gonna reload here. So we're going to do Vetus and Ketus.
Press the circle to enter the vault code. A little bit of higher mathematics.
There we go. Now we're gonna do the exact same strat, but to the key. Not like that. 3 cans, 5 minutes. Nice, well done. Boneyard is a brutal level coming up, so I am not super excited about that one. Once again, remember what I was saying? Sly's auto-targeting preferences are very weird. He really likes to auto-target coins and things that provide coins. There we go. Ta-da! Almost like the devs want you to collect coins, I know, right? Wild. We're going to do another fun little strat that is not shown off in any other category, in this category right here. This is the Fountain Void Drown for Boneyard. So we can jump out of bounds to this fountain right here. We're going to ground ourselves here, and we are going to do another Void Drown just like we did in ASA. Or I'm going to overshoot the Void Drown. We are going to use a game over. We're going to reset our lives, and that's not the worst thing in the world to have 5 lives again. Real life Void Drown for MTS, not worth. I don't know. I can try it. If y'all want me to try one shot at roulette, I'll try one. Holy splits. Hi, baby. Baby, how you doing? Okay, where are we at? Little just collect myself. Okay, here we are. So, Fountain Void Drown allows us to get super out of bounds here, and rather than having to deal with all of the very precise coins that are through this level, we are just going to go on top of the level instead. My sleep schedule. That's fair, love. I'm sorry. Will it help if I go ahead and grab a world record really quick while doing an SGDQ demonstration?
Press the circle to enter the vault code. Man, I'm getting swift with deciphering these codes.
Agreed, Crip. Yeah. Yeah, cool. Okay, I think Roulette Void Drown's gonna be too precise. I think we should just go for Fountain Void Drown a second time. Back without sound. Sounds good. Thank you, Genga. The out of bounds for this level is fairly difficult, and then the final jump is fairly difficult, so I'm like a little on the concentration side. Got it! Woo! Perfect time for donations, exactly. I don't believe I ever went into... Yeah, I never got this key. I need to go grab this key. So we are actually going to be a little further behind than I want to be, but oh well. Caught me off guard twice, fair.
I'm going in, Sly.
I think we might actually have some free time save on straight to the top as well.
I'm half done.
Albie, yeah.
Yikes!
We're really, really close. We have one very difficult level left, and then one more level after that, and then we have World 5, and we're done.
Bingo!
We are very, very close to done. This level is just basic escorting Murray. Once again, there are no random RNG guard spawns in here. It's just going... right here, you can actually pause early and load the level. You can have Murray collect the key during the fade out and not have to listen through Murray's very long key pickup animation. Oh, sorry. Ignore that. Nice! Okay, we need roll here. This jump is a little precise. We're going to do another date skip. And then after that date skip, we're going to do another water tower proxy. And the water tower proxy is going to send us straight to the vault. Oop. Glodent. Okay, we need to go ahead and break that because that will affect our trajectory. We're going to wait out those coins near the water tower. Now we can do our water tower proxy. Got it! That trick is so precise. I'm so proud of that. Straight to the top? No, Gwen. Not at all. Okay. We're going to do a fun little Binocucom pause strat here. We have a very, very long roll hover to do all the way to the top. That being said, a very long roll hover is not super conducive to a tight timer. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and reset because we collected a coin unnecessarily. I do need to make sure that these coins despawn from the guard before I go around this pole here. Now, we do have void immunity at this point, so we no longer take damage from falling, which is nice. I'm going to open the Binocucom as I'm falling off. Hold on. Kiara, thank you so much for the raid. There we go. Pause right before I hit the ground. It's going to close the pause menu when I hit the ground instead of the Binocucom. And now, I can go ahead and use this spire with an infinite amount of time because I have the Binocucom open in order to do a big, big roll hover all the way over to the key. Hi Raiders, welcome in. Sorry, I'm very, very focusing for SGDQ submission video. Thank you so much for the raid. I hope your stream went well. Once again, we can actually break the circle hitbox by getting high enough and going outside of the skybox. Once we're there, then we can just spam circle to get all the height that we need. However, for now, we need to go ahead and do roll hovers manually. The timing is very precise on them, so I'm going to focus just a little bit here to make sure I don't drop too many roll hovers. Thank you for the follow, I really appreciate it. I'm doing okay. I cannot let my hand off the controller yet, but I will when I can. And now we have the height. We're just going to hold forward and let Sly fall into the key. That is a very precise visual lineup that we use all the way up in the air. It took us a while to come up with that one, but I'm very proud of having come up with it. Okay. Now, we finally have Straight to the Top. This is the final platforming level before we just go to World 5 and finish off the boss. Now we are going to use Boxy Proxy to get up to the vault. Now, what I'm actually going to do here... 468. I'm going to duplicate my save. I'm going to finish the vault. I'm going to load the other duplicated save file. And then I'm going to go back to the 94% save file. Bentley has a very long cutscene for us when he finally realizes that we've collected all the vaults. We don't have time for that very long cutscene, so we're going to make Bentley think that we've only collected 1 minus all of the vaults, and then go back to where we've already collected all the vaults. We're going to do Aero Proxy one more time to finish off the MTS. That first try Aero Proxy though, throwing that out there. I need to be really careful with this coin around the loading trigger here, and there we go.
You've done it, Sly! The Thievius Raccoonus is complete! Now, try beating all the Master Thief sprints to unlock the designer's commentary. Once you've unlocked them all, I've got a special behind-the-scenes movie to show you.
Now it is time to do Bentley Skip. Bentley Skip is a very, very helpful guard proxy. We're going to proxy off of a turret here, and proxying off the turret is going to throw us over hacking. If you've ever played this level before as a kid or something, hacking is kind of a very brutally difficult and very long level. We don't really want to deal with that very much. Dang. I might go ahead and do the hook jump here instead, so we can avoid the coins better. We don't want to have to deal with hacking. In addition to not having to deal with hacking, when you get out of hacking, the game takes control of you after you break open the base for Carmelita. It drops some coins on you. You can't dodge them at that point. You have to get really lucky. It's just, in general, not very good for this category. So we are going to let those coins despawn because they're scary. And then we are going to hop on this turret as it's opening. It's going to launch us up in the air. And then we are going to get a big launch over the hacking trigger. There we go. If you remember, Sly actually can't trigger cutscenes while his feet are not on the ground. So we actually spam X there, and rather than Sly being locked into a cutscene, Sly will jump before the cutscene is triggered. While he's in the air, that gives us time to freely pause. And we can pause and load out of that cutscene. Enjoy your lurk by all means. Here we are escorting Sly. This is temporary truce. Carmelita and Sly both realize that they have a common enemy. Now that you've freed Carmelita, she trusts you a little more, so they decided to form a temporary truce until they beat Clockwork together. So we are actually playing as Carmelita, escorting Sly up to the top here to grab his family's cane. We're just also going to make sure that these slugs don't grab Sly on the back while he's running across here. Nice job, Raccoon.
Nice job, Raccoon.
We're going to load out of this, and we have the final platforming section of the entire game. That is a hook jump to make it up to gear early. A lot of what we're doing in this platforming section is just cutting little corners. Like right there, we're jumping on a wire earlier than we should be able to. We're going to use some cane jumps in order to speed up our platforming here. And then a very difficult sinking peril cane jump to make it all the way up to here. That skips about half the level, which is very, very helpful, and it's also a very temperamental half the level. And now we are into the final fight. This is the very final fight of the game. Timing will end on the last hit of Clockwork as soon as Clockwork's health drops to 0. He has 3 health bars. There is no RNG during this first section. All of the shots are predetermined. You can lead them by being in the corner of the screen, and then you wait for Carmelita to make a certain section of Clockwork's armor vulnerable, and then you drop that, or use that to drop his health. There we go. And now we have the final unskippable cutscene of the run. We have Sly and Clockwork's banter with Clockwork's final evil monologue. That's right, we don't skip every evil monologue in the run. We have one that we actually listen to. We have one more flying shooting section. This section does actually have a little RNG, but each ring is not RNG. It has a series of preset patterns, and then it chooses one of those preset patterns randomly. So while it's not entirely RNG, the pattern that it does choose is random. Also, fingers crossed, knock on wood, we will not be getting something called a purple ring. What happens with the purple ring, I'm going to explain beforehand in case you hear me screaming, is that one of the purple rings he shoots at you can come forward, bounce off of terrain behind you, and then hit you in the back after bouncing off because that has fully elastic collision. That is totally RNG and you cannot see it coming. So I really hope that Clockwork doesn't do that to us, but there is a very small chance of it happening. Wait, Crypt brings up a really good point. Hacking? No, hacking wasn't entered. Crypt brings up a really good point. Alright. This is no longer PB possible. We actually have to enter hacking. It's been way too long since I've done this. Yeah, no, that no longer PB possible. It was actually PB possible. It's not anymore. We have to enter hacking. It counts as 1% to just see the level.
Hey, Cooper.
Yep.
I should have known you were behind this.
You got me wrong, Miss Fox.
We'll still get sub 3 hours as far as run submission goes. Once again, GDQ viewer, if you submit the run, or if you accept the run, then I will have this run down to a science, but it's still sub 3 hours, and I think that that is important to show that even after 1 day of D-Rust, I can still get sub 3 hours here, because that shows that during a marathon setting, sub 3 is a very viable incentive for a GDQ main stage. So even in a run as difficult as this, with mistakes being very prevalent, sub 3 is still very consistent and very possible. And I think that that's important. There we go. Now we have 99% going into Clockwork. Now the final hit on his head will count as 100%. restart the whole... Yep, you do. It does not have checkpoints. This entire fight does not have checkpoints.
My skills are so...
That being said, we don't have to listen to the evil monologue a second time, so we have a little bit of time saved. I am taking special care to try to pre-shoot the shot that Carmelita is going to make vulnerable for us. If the shots are already in the air, then it saves time on each shot that we have to take.
You cannot escape me.
Perfect.
Now's your only chance, Sly. You've got
Now's
to
your
get
only
to
chance,
his
Sly.
head and destroy it before his auto.
I am. Blue 7.
Brutal. Thank you for the follow. Brutal. Hi, DJ Alpha Omega. How you doing? Yeah, it's supposed to feel like the final epic fight, you know? Super swell time. I'm a little stressed. I'm trying to be as perfect as possible for an SGDQ submission video, but Frost Fatales just ended, so I haven't really had time to chill and decompress as far as pressurized gaming has gone. That clipped me? Wow. Thank you. That's impressive. All I'm saying is I'm much more scared of purple rings now that I know it was originally thought that purple rings could only show up on the first 3 phases. That's not true. I've gotten a purple ring on phase 4 now. Which is terrifying. Enough slide. It ends here. I'll finish you. I may have heard that line way too many times.
You're the weakest Cooper I've yet encountered. My skills are superior.
My question is, do I dare limp in the run? Do I dare limp in the run? I don't think so. I think I have too much pride to limp it in.
I am. Blue 7.
I had too much pride to limp it in. Snuggles, do you see what's going wrong on that jump? That jump, okay, so the problem with that jump is that there are 3 problems that can cause that exact same outcome. And so it's hard to figure out what that problem is because there are 3 problems that can cause it to do that exact same thing.
My skills are superior. You cannot see.
Yeah, for verifier, the run would have ended on that final jump. But that's fine. This still works for a submission video. I had 2 days to create a submission video after Frost. That's fine. They'll understand that. When does it do it? Tomorrow?
You can't dodge me forever.
Purple ring, no. Purple ring, bad. Jumping from B higher? Do you mean like in terms of does it have a rocking cycle? Please tell me that platform you're jumping from doesn't have a rocking cycle. I never noticed that before.
I am. Blue 7.
I never noticed that before. Wow, okay, no, that's actually really important information. So thank you.
You will never be rid of me.
I had
It took
no
some tricking
idea.
maneuvering,
I need to be
but I
paying
managed to
attention to
snatch
that.
last piece of the Thievius Raccoonus from Clockwork's Claw.
Okay, yeah, that's fine for a
I'd
submission
taken
video.
down each member of the Fiendish Five: Raleigh, Mugshot, Ms. Ruby.
Now can make it.
Panikin,
Oh yeah. Oh
and
yeah.
finally
That
Clockwork.
being said,
I'd beaten them all one by one.
GDQ
and reclaimed my
verifier submission
birthright.
reader.
Of course,
Hi.
there was no way I could have
I really
gotten
appreciate
here
you taking the
without
time to
help
watch
of
this
my
run.
pals.
I really do think that
I
this
know
category
this
should be
hasn't
shown
been
off
easy
on a
for
main
them,
stage. I
but
think
they
that not
stuck
only
with
is
me
there a
through it
ton of
all.
love for this game.
Man,
Chat, give love for
boy,
this game,
it took
yeah?
a lot of guts
There's
for
a
me to
ton
get
of
off
love
the
for
field
this
with
game,
me.
a ton of people love it,
I
it
know
is
he
just
was
a
scared,
very good
but he's got more
platformer,
heart than
and
anyone
this is a
I've
category
ever
that's
known.
never been shown on a main stage before.
Thank goodness for Bentley.
It just shows off so much
Without
of the
his
game, so
expertise,
much cool
I'd have
tech
never
that isn't
found my way
shown
off that
in
rooftop
other
in Paris.
categories, and it's just a fun,
A
on the
guy
edge of your
couldn't
seat
ask for
run
a
to watch
better
the
gang of
entire
friends.
time. I think that it's heavily worth
could
it,
ever forget
and
the
I would
lovely
really appreciate you
Carmelita?
considering letting it in.
Looks like we're not going to be friends
Alright.
anymore.
Thank
Now
you
that
so much
Clockwork's
for
death
watching
ray
all
is
the
out
way
of
through.
commission,
If you've gotten
we're back
this
to
far, I
playing
really
cops
do
and
appreciate
robbers.
it. Alright,
I thought for
that'll
sure
be
she
it
was
for me.
going to
Thank
slap
you.
the handcuffs on me right then and there.